Story time!
Story time! Story time!
Story time! Story time! And then
Itch! Hi, my name is Timmy Vilgiate.
And I'm Christopher Fox.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No, my God. Well, this is Maranda Sandoval, and she's standing in for people today. She actually got here 2 minutes ago, and we are recording all of these stories in one fell swoop. Music for this episode is provided by We're Not a Glum Lot. I hope that you guys enjoy it. This is 2 Lies and 1 Truth. I don't need any sleep. I'm worried about you, man, I said, accidentally stepping on the tail of my roommate's cat. The cat skittered out of the way, sending what seemed to be an ocean of Mountain Dew cans and coffee cups flying through the air. I cleared my throat and tried to continue with what I was saying in the first place. I mean, you've been in here for days. It's not healthy. I don't have time, Evan grumbled before launching into a crazed fit of typing. The real concern wasn't so much his mental well-being, but the smell. He hadn't cleaned out the cat box or bathed or done any of his laundry since midterms. Now finals were upon us, and my roommate, who I'll admit most of us thought was some kind of superhuman, had sacrificed all mortal concerns, hygiene, food, water, and instead now subsisted on a diet made of nothing but Adderall, Mountain Dew, and coffee. His eyes were bloodshot and crazed, his hands typed with an indescribable fury. Where am I? Sorry. We're doing this with all the mistakes left in. I was zooming in so Miranda could see. With an indescribable speed. He had some kind of paper or something to write. None of us really knew. We weren't sure how to approach the subject. We tried to stage an intervention, but he got impatient and started working on his calculus homework in the middle of the damn thing. We all gave up. Don't get me wrong, we all cared about our grades. But I also cared about, sleep and food and not dying. And Kyle cared about his girlfriend, I guess, and his I think he has an abstract avant noise solo project. He said he got a few lessons from Belarus or Nigeria or whatever since he broke up with his last band. But the point is, we couldn't really relate with Evan. And we supposed that once the summer hit, he'd stop. No luck? Asked Kyle. I shook my head. His girlfriend, wearing a clothespin on her nose, winced as she suggested.
Can we give him a sponge bath or something?
I cringed. Oh, God, that's gross. I'm not going to touch him. Yeah, babe. Greg has that, that issue that I told you about. What? I asked. Oh, nothing. He chuckled before whispering to his girlfriend as an aside. Do you see what I mean?
It must be so difficult for him.
She whispered in response. I wasn't sure what they were talking about, but never mind that. I wasn't about to give Evan a sponge bath. Not because I have some kind of issue or whatever, but because Evan hasn't bathed in months. I didn't want to touch him. He wasn't some kind of sick animal. With all likelihood, he could be persuaded to bathe in a few days when finals ended. All of us decided to head out to the back porch and chill. It didn't smell as bad out there.
How many classes is Evan in, anyway?
Carly asked. He's in 21 credit hours, I said. He had to get a permission slip signed to take that many. Yeah, I think he said he's physics or something.
You guys don't know?
No, not really. Yeah, neither of us are really that close to him. He just said he needed 2 roommates at the start of the school year, and the rent was pretty cheap. He mostly just keeps to himself. Actually, was hardly home at all last semester. Oh.
But I guess he failed his midterms?
Failed or something. Yeah, it's been like this ever since. As lost for words as all of us were, Carly took a beer out of the cooler to her right and popped it open, cautiously taking a sip. Kyle, drumming a syncopated rhythm on his knee, tuned out of the conversation. I checked my phone and started looking at memes. That was when we heard the screaming coming from the kitchen. A terrified and almost blood-curdling roar resounded from the sliding glass door, followed by the sound of crashing. The three of us stood up cautiously and moved towards the sliding glass door, looking through it to see Evan searching for a butter knife in the drawer. You think you can talk down to me, huh? You think I'm stupid? I'll fucking rip your guts out, you piece of shit! Evan screamed to something on the ground.
What the hell is he doing?
Asked Carly. Her boyfriend was non-responsive. She nudged him before catching him holding a small recording device in his pocket.
Are you sampling this?
She glared at him, stupefied.
Tell me you aren't sampling this.
Evan stomped on our toaster, sending a few small plastic bits flying in every direction. You're gonna regret the day you ever tried to fuck with me, little bitch! He stomped again before picking it up by the cord and glaring at it with a savage sense of satisfaction. Carly cautiously slid the door open. What are you doing? I asked.
I'm going to try to calm him down.
Carly was not a psychologist, but she was also from Florida, where this sort of thing is more common. Seeing Carly, Evan held up his hand. Watch out! It's still fucking alive! It's not fucking done! He threw it to the ground and dropped to his knees, beginning to stab the toaster with the butcher knife.
What's wrong, Evan? What is it?
This little fucker! He grunted, while trying to get the knife unstuck from the toaster. Just fucking call me a dumbass! You think I'm a dumbass, huh? I'll kick your ass, you stupid little fuck! He ripped the knife out of the toaster, ripping it in two. We need to burn it, he said, staring up at her desperately.
Evan, it's...
Carly gulped.
It's...
Kyle butted in, laughing exuberantly. It's just a toaster, man. Come on. Greg's autistic, and he doesn't even do shit like that. I wasn't autistic. I just study math, but whatever. What did you just say? Evan demanded of Kyle, coming towards him with the knife.
Evan, calm down.
Carly said.
Okay, we're all friends here, right?
Shut up! He growled at her before grabbing Kyle by the shoulder. Kyle dropped his recording device. Are you one of them? He demanded. Come on! You tell me, are you one of them? Like a toaster? You know what I mean, you alien piece of shit! He pushed him away, gripping his hair and breathing heavily while swearing under his breath. Carly had pulled out her cell phone and began dialing 911 right away. I entered the house carefully. Kyle was shaking like a leaf, unable to move. Hey, what's wrong, man? Nothing, he spat back at me. No, really, man, what's wrong? It was right. I'm stupid. I'm a total failure. I don't know what I was thinking. Listen, Evan, the toaster can't talk to you. You aren't stupid. You're the only one here who thinks that. Shut the fuck up, okay? He said. It looks like a toaster now, but it's not. They bugged the fucking house and they're trying to come for me. They're trying to drive me crazy. I think you need a rest. Sleep is for the weak, Greg. I'm not gonna sleep. I have a paper due on Friday. He started to almost wilt, internally collapsing in on himself until he sat down on the floor, dropping his knife and wringing his hands over his face. The paramedics came to talk to Evan. His heart rate and blood pressure were both abnormally high. They told us he was in a stimulant psychosis. After talking to him and the other roommates for about 15 minutes, they decided to take him in a 72-hour hold at a psychiatric hospital. Before they took him away, Evan asked me to turn in all the files he'd saved under Finals 2017 to his professors. Something bothered me deeply about seeing a person brought to that state. I knew I shouldn't have, but I ended up snooping around his room. Evan studied biochemistry, it turned out. He wanted to be a doctor, just like his parents. And his dad actually gave me a call. He said Evan was dyslexic and had ADHD when he was younger. In spite of that, he was in the top of his class, but was always disappointed in himself. His dad had always seen his drive to be the best as a good thing and never sought to discourage him. I turned in Evan's assignments, and when he came back from the hospital, we got word that he had aced all of his classes.
First day of class is hard for a girl. It's hard for anyone, but especially a girl. The first day of class doesn't even start when class starts. It starts the morning of, and I mean the early morning of. Sometimes even the night before. Sometimes I don't even sleep. But without boring you with the intricacies of my hair, makeup, perfume, and oh god, my shaving. This one time I forgot to shave, and though everyone was looking at my legs, even though I had on leggings and an adorable dress, but I'm doing it again. Well, the first day of class is hard for a girl. Right, that's where I was at. But it is! The seat has to be right. I can't sit too far in the back, or I might come off as not caring or something ridiculous as that. I can't sit too far in the front, or I might come off as a nerd. There could be a cute boy, and I don't want to come off as a nerd. I mean, I am a nerd, but he doesn't need to know that yet. He can learn that when I'm whopping up on him on Smash, or Call of Duty, or whatever lame-ass game he is playing. It's not bitchy if you just know you're better. I'm getting ahead of myself, though. But just in case he walks in, I need to sit in the perfect seat. Somewhere in between. Because I do care, and I've already established that I am a nerd. Other people don't need to know that, though. Maybe they'll figure it out. But not on the first day. Middle row, middle seat. Couldn't have picked a more neutral spot. Says, hey, I'm here to learn. I might be on my phone, but you won't know, teacher. This spot is perfect. And I guess there was no class before this one, because I did show up rather early. Like 20 minutes early. But I had to. Like seriously, I had to though. Parking is a pain. But this early in the morning, I guess it's not that bad. I found a good spot at least. It wasn't like this one time in the afternoon, I couldn't get a spot anywhere. I drove around in circles, looking and looking, and there was nothing. I just kept driving. Missed my class, so I drove home. Just went home and took aggression out on preteen kids who can aim properly when I'm jumping around yelling, get some. But I'm doing it again, huh? Right, so parking wasn't an issue. But like, picking your seat is the most crucial thing in college. This is so true on the first day, because did you know that people stay in these seats for the remainder of the semester? There might be some minor shuffling around for the next class period, but people will stay in these seats for months. When you sit in someone's seat, it messes up the entire feng shui of the class. It just feels wrong. I've always thought about saying something to the people who do that, but I don't. Because I care, but not that much. But I do care about having a good first day, a good first time, because that matters. Everything has to be right. I got the perfect seat, so that's one box checked off. But now I have to set up the perfect desk. I slide my backpack off the right shoulder and plop it firmly next to me, but not too firmly. I do have things that could break in there. Like this one time, I had a bunch of crayons, and it's not important why I had the crayons, but I had the crayons, and I had them at the bottom of my bag, and I was in a hurry, and I threw the backpack off my left shoulder, and when I went to sit down, and well, they broke. That didn't happen this time, though, because, well, I don't have crayons. I slide the pack back off gently. I did get to bring out my brand new notebook, though. It just felt nice. And got to set up my black pen, and my red pen, and my green pen. I don't even write in those. I have a pencil, but I like to have pens, just in case. I also have a stapler, a ruler, a protractor, a calculator. No, I'm not even in math. I just like to have them, just in case. Also, kind of why I set my backpack down gently. I have other stuff too, but those are not important. So I'm setting up my space, and only a few minutes pass. Just a few, and nobody walks in yet. I mean, seriously, people, do you not care about your education? I take another 10 whole minutes before the next person even walks in. They honestly scared me, and I feigned like I was doing something on my phone, just to be sure they didn't talk to me. It was a girl, and she was sort of pretty. She sat in the back, though, so whatever. People began to pour in slowly after she came in, like they were all out in the hall or something, and the room began to fill. And there were no cute guys. I mean, there was one guy, but I had him in a class last semester, and he was kind of weird. Not like me weird, but like weird. No one even sat by me until 1 minute before class started, he walked in. He looked in that moment a little off, but like in a good way. He was cute, had a decent sense of style, and best of all, he looked right at me and smiled. It's like we were connected or something. And he started to walk towards me. Not like directly because there were chairs in the way, but I had open seats near me, and I just knew he was sitting there. And he did. Not even 3 seats away, but 2. 2 seats. It was close. It was so close I could smell him. He smelled like weed, incense, and cheap cologne. I was in love. Completely awestruck, I just stared at him until he met my gaze again, but seemed a little frightened. I guess I was staring at him, and kept staring at him, so I figured I had to say something. So I said, "Hi." He paused there for a moment. Maybe he was thinking of how to explain the world to me, how we could rush off somewhere, to somewhere exotic, somewhere with a beach or a forest. But alas, he just said hi back. Slightly deflated, I said the next thing that came to mind. "Do you play Call of Duty?" His face lit up, and I knew right then and there that he did. He didn't even have to say it. I knew I could beat him. But when he asked if I played, I just said I dabbled a bit.
I thought about downloading a word processing app until I realized I had one and that I'd need it. I wasn't screwing around. I'd take a walk, go somewhere they wouldn't find me, and I'd write. I'd wear my head net to avoid the bugs, give myself a spray down, and then, no matter how long I'd been gone, I'd at least have the peace of mind to myself to think I'd done what I needed to do. I'd enjoy the sun until the stars came out, and I'd make peace with the bugs as my war against them became a more and more distant memory. I went to a school called Woodland Park High School in Woodland Park, Colorado, when I was someone else. Someone who almost wouldn't walk off like this, but did. Someone who almost stayed grounded, but didn't. Someone with a contact lens of ice who tried but could not be colder than the frost and thereby brave the world. Thus things were different then. I have thus been walking off ever since, and it has been no matter the weather. One summer in high school, I was part of an outdoor adventure program that let me earn college credit in outdoor education at a particular college, where I later earned my associate's degree in Associate of Arts, a very general degree since I couldn't make up my mind or follow through. I had realized during this program in high school that I was not particularly fond of camping, which gave me a small identity crisis due to the fact that I considered myself to be a tree hugger, someone who should love the outdoors unconditionally. But I found that I did not, or so my feeling informed me. In Woodland Park, there was an odd little trail that you could take via the high school parking lot, and in a small fit, I took the trail one day after our class excursion. I didn't know what I was doing or looking for and had no expectations, but what I ended up finding was a church. A small chapel, actually, seemingly abandoned. There was dead grass all around it and twine on the door, and I untied it effortlessly, letting myself slide into the rotting wooden building. It was full of doors and mirrors, and insects and paper. A flurry of snow fell from the rafters, or dust. I began to meditate in a sense. In high school, it was like I was always meditating because it was preferable to me to be quiet and interact passively, and meditation seemed like a good excuse for that. I saw the doors, a stockpile of doors, stacked together, a wooden centipede of opportunities, fronts and backs, and mirrors. I looked at myself over and over in passive, unconscious scrutiny, wondering why, with such multitudinous visual company, I could still feel myself to be alone. Why, with 100 copies of myself to look at, would still feel like I was the only one there. I laughed and smiled at this thought. We see ourselves in a mirror every day, but never acknowledge the face staring back at us as human in a certain sense. We must see each other differently than we see ourselves. In the mirror, I am 100 people, more so to myself than you are to me. The kids at school talk about me, and the teachers are on alert about me, and the counselors know. In the midst of this thinking I was doing, something caught my eye, and I realized I wasn't alone. There was something black moving on the floor. A snake. The moment I realized, it must have been the moment it got me. My first thought was that it must have used the reflections to its advantage, or we wouldn't have been able to see each other. I woke up thinking this incessantly. There must be copies and copies of you, I told the snake. The church must be a storehouse of you, snake. The church must be a storehouse of you, snake. Doors and mirrors in you, doors and mirrors in you, doors and mirrors in you, my delirious, endless chant. The snake and I relaxed into each other as though a spot existed in my consciousness that was just his size, and I self-assuredly felt that such a perfectly molded spot within my consciousness was a good place to be. I relaxed further. I woke and dreamed and woke and dreamed. I bled my snakebite onto the floor of the church. I prayed. This floor sank and sank until it seemed, quite truly, that I was alone, and in the corner of a space as large and reflective as the world.
I feel like a ghost haunting a host. The most beautiful dreams that I've ever seen in my life.
Well, thank you for listening, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Really appreciate you for coming in, Miranda. Next week, if you want to submit stories to us, you can do that on our website, twoliesandonetruth.com. The theme is going to be love and relationships. Love and relationships. And then after that is going to be disasters. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please know that we are on iTunes. We are on all kinds of different podcasting localities. Be sure to like us on Facebook. And last thing before I go, We Are Not a Glum Lot was the band that did all the music for this episode. So go be sure and check them out. I hope you have a great day, folks. Bye.